So this is going to be a half review. Everything's a little bit mixed up. I do know that you're going to say, where's Anthem? It's coming, don't worry, it's nearly finished. But I had a second monitor installed. Look at you. Ooh, look at you. You're being a proper PC gamer. You're being a proper streamer getting a second monitor. Yes. Yes, I am. So over the past week, if you wondered where I've been, I've had my tech guy and his brother, because my tech guy deals with software, and you know, he opens up the PC and can say, oh, this and this is wrong, and he does all that. But then if you want things like, oh, second monitor, and it's going to be wired back into the Elgato, wired up to the first monitor, all that craziness, that's his brother. So yeah, I've had, if you want, the Mario Brothers come out and deal with my second monitor. So that's now on the wall, that's all hooked up, so I will be doing a lot more streaming soon. Probably not this week, because I'm going to try and finish off Anthem and Kingdom Hearts 3, but the first stream back, going to be Yoshi's Crafted World, so that's just a little thing. So this is kind of a half review of Devil May Cry 5, as when I went round my tech guy's house with the bracket, because I had to make sure like the bracket was right, and his brother had to like put all the bolts in before we come over. I got to play Devil May Cry at his house, Devil May Cry 5 obviously, because I didn't buy it, and I will get into that at the end, but I will go through everything that I saw. He basically let me go through the first level, and then he started up his other save file, like his other account, because you can have multiple accounts on the PlayStation 4, so I played the PlayStation 4 version. But he started his other account where he had all the characters unlocked, like Nero, V, and what's the other one? Oh, I don't know, Spyro. How about the one that's on the bloody box and is the main character in the other games, you stupid ditzy dragon? But again, to be fair, I was kind of preoccupied, because while the second monitor did go up okay, trying to like make the consoles, like the PlayStation and the Switch, go into the Elgato. So let me just tell you the rig. So you got the consoles that go into the Elgato, one HDMI, that's easy, but then you have to have the Elgato go into a splitter that goes into the first monitor, you know, so OBS recognises it. But then, because you want the Twitch chat up, you also have to have a wire going back from the first monitor into the splitter into the second monitor, so you've got both monitors like showing, but you'll be wanting to look at the chat on one monitor and have the game running on the other monitor, which is a third visual cable. So then you have to have a third cable coming from either monitor, so you could have a second cable going into a monitor, which comes down into a second splitter, which then goes back into the first splitter, and it's a little bit of a mess. And it took us a little while to get that working, but hey, here you go. This is the final result, by the way. Look at that. I can have dual PC screens, or when I actually like play a game on stream, or when I record stuff, I'll be recording on one screen and looking at the chat on the other. We're a double monitor Drago now. So yeah, so yeah, that's why I was like, oh gee, I wonder who the third character is. It wouldn't be the guy on the fucking cover, would it? It wouldn't be Dante. It wouldn't be the guy that's like the main character of most of the other games, would it? No, I don't know. Because my mind was kind of preoccupied that day with like, hey, look, we're setting this up, and obviously the footage you're about to see is just random footage from YouTube, like just different Let's Plays and stuff of anything I need to show off, because while we were putting all the brackets in and all the screws in and stuff, that was at my tech guy's house, and he had it, so I was just like, I'll just play it here and see what it's like. So there you go, well, let's just dive in. So if this one seems a little bit messy, don't worry, the Anthem one is extremely edited. It's actually longer than I predicted, but I got everything in. And Yoshi's Crafted World in Kingdom Hearts 3 are also like edited as well. And yeah, so this one, a little bit of a mess, but hey, double monitors for when I'm streaming. I don't know the other one on the fly, but he had all 3 unlocked. So yeah, I'm going to go through it and what I saw, and you will just see random footage. Some of it from different streamers, like the music one, because the music is potentially licensed, is definitely going to be Vinny from VineSource, because like when the vocals come in, I'm like, oh, that's potentially content ID'd, that is. At least with Vinny laughing at the absurdity of the opening when the credits roll, the laughter and him saying this can't be real does kind of drown out the music, which is enough to not get a content ID. So even if you're hearing his voice, just bear with it for the music, and the rest of the footage is probably going to be silent, because even in regular tiny minion battles, there is the I think it's Pull My Devil trigger song, and I don't know if that's content ID'd or not, and YouTube is a dick. But that's 3 minutes of talking. Let's dive into it with the first part, that is the graphics that look bloody stunning. For the most part, obviously it's made in the same engine as the Resident Evil 2 engine, and originally Devil May Cry was gonna be Resident Evil 4. That's a little fun bit of trivia for you. However, moving on from the trivia, it's weird because having played the other Devil May Cry games, I like some of the graphics. Like in terms of overall, it looks great. Like all the characters, their animations, the fighting animations, all of the animations from your gauntlet, it all looks great, as does the world. However, playing Devil May Cry 4 and a few other ones, I do more appreciate the Dark Souls-esque architecture, like or Bloodborne architecture. So when you're in certain areas, it looks great, it looks amazing in certain areas, but then you get into a lot of the later areas where it's the ruined city, and you know, we've seen the ruined city zombie apocalypse 1,000 times. Now the demon, the demon tentacles and things bursting out of the ruined city, that obviously does give it some extra flair, but it's still a ruined city. So while it looks really good, some of the areas are a little bit I don't know. To me, I don't know. I prefer it like in the early game, like that opening cutscene where you're in the Demon King's castle, I'm going to assume, and you've got Dante going forward, and you see all of this big blue twisting strange architecture. Those are the areas I like, but Ruined City, I don't like it so much. This one I can't really play again from my opening. You're going to hear Vinny. It is the perfect music for a spectacle fighter, if that's what you'd like to call it, and it's just fun to listen to the music while killing the demons. It is very, very energetic and high paced, going from rock soundtracks to nightcore to all sorts of things that will make a teenage boy be like, yes, yes, let me kill the demons, yes. It is very fun. However, I think it is potentially content ID'd because it has got vocals, which leads me to believe it's a licensed song. But I'll give you a little bit of an example with the opening, which I will obviously have the clip of Vinny laughing to hopefully get around the content ID.
Hey, you have to hit every single bump in the road? Gonna ruin my groove.
Breaking the law. Breaking the law. Breaking... Yeah, I don't know if that would work. That demon wouldn't feel that. Come on. What? 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 I don't understand the music choices so far, but okay. Wow, what an opening credits device. That is wonderful. Oh my god. Oh my. It's so stupid. I'm gonna be the one crying after I'm done with this. I don't regret this purchase so far. I like how Resident Evil has scaled itself back. You know, is much more like grounded these days compared to the punching of the boulder. And this game, it knows what it is, and it's not afraid to just be stupid as fuck.
So yeah, all of the music is like that. All of the music is very high energetic. That's not you mix two things. All of the music is very fast-paced nightcore or high energetic nightcore, or it's either that or it's a little bit lower heavy metal, but it's got like the Black Sabbath. I mean, it might not be Black Sabbath. I don't know who sung I think it's the song in the Demon King's Palace where you can hear the heavy metal soundtrack, but I don't know which heavy metal band it is, but you can hear the deeper vocals. So the soundtrack is good and it's all on point, but potentially if you're going to be playing it on YouTube like Vinesource, I would speak over it, or you might have a visit from Mr. YouTube going, "Ooh, I see you playing copyrighted music there. I think we're going to have to issue you a content ID strike, so you're not going to monetize that video." But it's in the game, Mr. YouTube! I can't help it! Well, maybe you should have muted that part of the video before you uploaded it. Oh, come on, Mr. YouTube. It's not that bad. Is it really that bad? Yes, it is. Because we have made an algorithm to remove YouTube channels if the comments are nasty. For fuck's sake, YouTube, you fucked it up again. So, yeah, I would not play the music on YouTube if you don't want to get a content ID. If it is content ID'd. Again, I'm not sure, but considering it's got vocals, 90% of vocal tracks are content ID'd, so I'd just be careful with that. However, the music is really, really good. And moving on to the gameplay, it is fun-ish. Spyro. I know what everybody's going to say. Why are you saying fun-ish? Are you telling me it's not fun to go around with the Mega Buster and shoot people and demons in the face and slice them up with a sword and then do a silly little taunt saying happy birthday? It is, but here's my issue with it. Now having played it, I don't really understand why on the PS4, because I get it for Devil May Cry 1 through 4. It was on an earlier system, it might not have got the controls right. However, it's hard to explain, but to me, I don't see why in a 3D space, we have 2D fighting controls. So, like, to try and explain, there's an enemy in front of you, and when you, at least on the default controls, or the controls that my tech guy had it set to, I don't know if you can change this, but when you see an enemy in front of you, moving left or right strafes you left or right, but moving forward or backwards is part of the combo. So, like, if you have a D-pad in front of you or a joystick in front of you, going left or right on the D-pad will strafe you round, but pressing up on the D-pad doesn't actually make you go forward, it makes you do a up move. So when you go up or down on the D-pad, combined with whatever buttons, you do those combos, and it's the same for the joystick. Left and right on the joystick you strafe, going up or down on the joystick more activates a combo rather than moving you forward. Obviously, when there's no fighting going on, it does move you forward. But when you're actually in an arena, like with these death guys, and they put the seals around the arena, so you're not actually going to be progressing through the level, you're now in this little pocket dimension, the rules change, and it's more like up and down, start the combos rather than moving forward and backwards. I really don't know how to explain it unless you've played it yourself, but hopefully you understand what I mean, and that was also probably a poor way of explaining it. But overall, when you start to get used to the actual that bit, when you start to get used to the fact that in the arenas where you will be fighting the bad guys, up and down isn't up and down in a 3D space, it feels more like a 2D fighter in a 3D space. Once you get used to that, it is obviously, as everybody on the internet has said, incredibly satisfying to do combos with the sword, the gun and the arm, and style on the demons and get the S ranks. I'm shit, however, I could only get an A rank. No, I tell a lie, I think I got a single S rank, but I'm shit at the combo fighters, I only got an A rank. So yeah, it's a little bit weird in the gameplay, but once you get into the gameplay, once you're actually beating the demons, oh, it's so fun. It is so fun. It is so good. It's good! So, yes. However, let's return to our shouty streaming friend, as there is one aspect for the gameplay that we need to discuss. Yes, Vinny. Yeah, yes, you can. You can buy orbs. So throughout the game, once you do the first mission, there is a shop where you can buy moves, and there are red orbs that are required to buy these moves, and there's also blue orbs to get your life or your HP bar up. The orbs are given out very generously for the most part. When I was playing, I got about 20,000 orbs given to me in one level, and that is enough to buy a lot of the little stuff. Some of the bigger stuff that costs like 50,000 orbs, that's like on my tech guys save file, like end game, full on end game. You can see the slowdown. If you want like the big ultimate devil breaker arms, or you want that big ultimate move, like that big flashy final moves for the final boss, I would have to say it might become a little bit grindy. Like it does spew out orbs generously enough for 90% of the game, but it does feel like the end game where you're trying to just finish off the list, finish off whatever's left in the shop, does get a slight bit grindy. And this is where the microtransaction store comes in, where yes, you can buy red orbs, and this is such a horrible piss take, because it is good. It was really good. I had fun. But this is the reason why I personally will not buy Devil May Cry, nor will be putting it in any kind of Game of the Year awards at the end of the year, because it is a $60 game with microtransactions, and I just don't care. It devalues the product, it devalues the experience when you go into the shop and you maybe like 400 or 500 orbs off what you want, and then it's just like, oh well, you're 400 or 500 orbs off, so you could always buy some. It's like, well, no, you give them me generously enough that I can replay the level again, but no, why Capcom? It was so good, except for that one, well, there is a second thing, but except for that one stupid little fucking decision, that little thing that's just like, oh hey, by the way, if you really like this game, you're not going to be able to present it with any prestige, because we literally we fucked it. We fucked it right at the end. We fucked it right at the end, kind of. And the other thing is, 60, the base game is the shell price, as there is a deluxe edition for $75 that does have exclusive content to the deluxe edition, like real life cutscenes and some extra guns like the Mega Buster. So if you've seen people walking around with the Mega Buster, you cannot buy that in the regular $60 game. You cannot obtain that, as far as I know, and I have checked a couple of sites and they don't seem to be able to do it either. So as far as I can see, anything you see on this list in the collector's edition, like the soundtracks, the real-time, real-life cutscenes, and the Mega Buster, these cannot be obtained in the base $60 game. So if you buy the $60 game, you are going to be having an incomplete experience. For some people, it will be superficial. For some people, they will be having so much fun that they won't care. However, I do feel that it is somewhat scummy that you are literally carving content out of the game to sell back in a deluxe edition. I don't think that is right. So that is another reason why I refuse to purchase this game, because I would have liked to have just paid the $60 and been able to get the Mega Buster, been able to just see everything the game has to offer. But no, 60 is once again, like every AAA company, a shell price, and all of the extras come in the form of $75. So that's pretty much it. If you want a final verdict, it's if you were to not care about the superfluous shit from the deluxe edition and not care about the microtransactions, as I say, the architecture sometimes is a little bit off for me. I do prefer the originals, where it's Dark Souls or Bloodborne architecture most of the time rather than Ruined City, but that's personal preference. And sometimes, like in the combat arenas, when you're playing it for the first time, it is a little weird with the whole like 2D fighter in a 3D space, but I can't really explain it. But aside from that, it's great. It's really good. It's really, really good. I didn't even talk about the other two characters, which I am so surprised are just as good as Nero. Like, you would think that you have your main campaign of Nero, where it's like, hey, we put all the time, the effort, the resources into making sure that the Devil Breaker, the gun, and the sword are all perfect. We tweaked Nero to perfection, which they pretty much did, but you'd think that because we tweaked Nero and Nero's story to perfection that when we get to characters like V, well, he's gonna play like absolute arse because, hey, all the time went into Nero, and these are just some kids on the side, don't worry about them. It doesn't matter if they're shit because Nero's the one you're playing for. But surprisingly, the other two actually work. They are still just as well programmed and work just as well as Nero. So well done, Capcom. I mean, V, maybe there's a little bit of issue with V. Like when you summon or throw, I don't know what you call it, but when you make the crow go forward, sometimes it can get stuck on things. Sometimes it does have a little bit of a jitter around and doesn't work correctly, but that is very minor. You will very rarely see that. It's usually only in areas that have got a lot of things going on, like if you've got tentacles coming out the wall, all of like the wires and stuff dropping down from the ceiling, the floor is strewn with rubble and trash, so there's like trash piles. Like unless there is a lot of obstacles in a room, a lot of things going on in a room, then the crow will be fine. The crow will not get stuck. But in more claustrophobic spaces like hallways that have got ruins in them, again the ruined city thing, which is not that good of an aesthetic, the ruined city rooms, the crow might spaz out a bit. But aside from that, all the other three characters are great. Everything works on all three of them, and it's great. And I didn't even mention the comedy. That's another thing. The story keeps that Devil May Cry 4 silly, wacky, over the top shenanigans. I mean, just from that intro alone that Vinny was playing, where he just jumps out the side of the van, kills everything in slow motion, jumps back in the van. All the comedy is just as good as it ever was, if not better in some places. So yeah, it's great. If I had to give it a rating, it'd be a 4 out of 5. It'd be nearly there. Aside from just a few technical issues with the crow and the slight, well, I guess that comes down to the controls again, the 2D fighter in the 3D space. But aside from very minor nitpicks with the controls and your personal preference of the ruined city, I don't like the ruined city, I prefer the cathedrals and things, but aside from those two real little nitpicks, it's nearly great. It's nearly there. It's a 4 out of 5. It's nearly there. And then Capcom's just like slaps you in the face, and it's like, no. Microtransaction store. $60 game with microtransactions. So that 4 out of 5, boom, just gets shattered into a 0. And I hate it. I hate it, Capcom. You were there. Why did you do this? Look at it. You could have had it, and you shattered all 4 of them. You broke them. Why'd you do it, Capcom? Just remove it, please. Because if it gets removed, right? If it gets removed, then I can put it back on the games of the year. I can say it's still a 4 out of 5. It's still good. Just take it out, Capcom. Just get rid of it. It's not going to affect anything. Nobody's buying the orbs. And if there is, please stop buying the orbs. Just get rid of it, Capcom. It was there. Just don't make me have to disqualify it. But you're gonna. You did. It's a 0. And I hate you for it, Capcom. You were there. And you fucked it. So, yeah, it's big sigh. Big sigh. It's a 0 out of 5, as it is a $60 game with microtransactions, and it's had content carved out of the main game day one for a special edition. That one, you know, you can't really help that sometimes, but the microtransaction one, I would have still give it a 4 out of 5, even with the special edition, but I can't. And I hate you for it, Capcom. Just remove it. But yeah, so if you can all tweet Capcom to just tell them to remove the microtransaction store, it'd be great. But as it stands, it's a really fun game. It's a really great game. There's a reason why it's everybody on the internet is praising it as much as they're praising it right now. But you can't fully praise it. You can't give it that praise it deserves, because it's just like, nah, we're going to make sure that you can't give it an award. And I know I keep repeating myself, but it needs to be repeated. Just tweet Capcom, just say, get rid of it, Capcom. People want to award you, and people can't award you because you're doing stupid AAA shit. You're not EA. You don't need the microtransactions. You're not EA. Just get rid of them. So that's my thoughts on Devil May Cry 5. It's good. It is really good. I will now get back to doing the Anthem review, finish putting that together, as well as the Far Cry Metro Exodus, which is a little bit more small as well. I might actually do Far Cry and Metro Exodus because they're a lot shorter and mixed together for the joke of what did I call it? Let me just check my notes. For Far Cry Exodus 76. So yeah, I mix all three together as a bit of a joke. So those two are going to be together, but damn it! So close, so close. But those are shorter, so I'll do that one next, and then I'll do Anthem. But damn it! I'm gonna have to just end on a disappointing note. I'm not mad, as they say. I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. I'm just so disappointed in you, Capcom. You just get rid of them, please. It could be good. Just get rid of them.